Oh, DJ Davi.
Exclusive hot new mix. Let's go.
What up, Purpose Pod? We back with episode 67. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. On today's show, we got a special guest, Miss Arden McLaughlin. And she's going to help you get your business more exposure. I'm definitely tuning in. I might even jump into the conversation. The Purpose Pod is hosted by Mr. Never Stop, Never Quit, Repeat, Mr. Alan Levi Simmons. Before we get into this 90s alternative throwback, what happened to 90s alternative? Great era music. I just want to say shout out to my brother, Anthony Stovall, and Stovey Stars Training Academy. If you want your son or daughter to go to the elite status, this is the training camp they need to be in. He has an extensive business acumen and record. He was a state championship player of the year. Went to USC, Columbia, came out early, went pro, played MLS. Then he decided to take his talents overseas. So a lot of acumen here. Hey, make sure you check out Stovey Stars Training Academy. Now we're going to get into this 90s alternative throwback mix. Here we go.
Oh, DJ Davi.
Pass me by.
I'll lay around and wonder why
You were always there for me.
One way in the eyes of a passerby. I'll look around for another try and fade away.
Shut the door, baby. Don't say a word.
She always right.
Shut the door, baby.
Don't say a word.
Oh, DJ Davi.
Speech unimpeachable, only 19, but my mind is older. These New York City streets get cold.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air.
It was laying pennies on the rails and sneaking off to chew a red man. It was a Friday night win followed by a Saturday bruise. It was the first blue ribbon my dad and I drank, baptized on Glenville Lake. A tear in her eyes the night we lost all we had to lose. That tobacco town where I grew up, the tailgate down on a jacked up truck, a ring we earned cause we own that state, a tombstone with my daddy's name. Now this 6-string dream on a crazy course has got my compass losing north, and I need someone to
I think I'm about a minute over my time. Mr. Alan Levi Simmons. Hope you enjoyed this 10-minute 90s alternative mix. I'm going to pass it back over to you for the 30-second countdown. Let's go.
are now listening to the Purpose Pod, hosted by Alan Levi Simmons. This podcast is a platform to give listeners an inside perspective on purpose, business, and life experiences. If you're interested in finding purpose or discovering paths that could lead you into your purposeful life, this is the podcast for you. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for the Purpose Pod.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages across the world, across the galaxy? What's up, all my beautiful people? Welcome to the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and faith. I'm your host, Alan Levi Simmons, and this is episode 62. Episode 62, 67. Sorry, 67. I mixed up my twos and my sevens. I'm over here like stuck in episode 62, but episode 67. And I was thrown off because Facebook is over here warning me about our music once again. Arden, I knew this would happen with your alternatives. I'm just playing. Y'all should have seen our guest in the background. She was turning up, but only on all I do is win, no matter what. She was back there like this. But hailing from Mooresville, North Carolina, I have Arden McLaughlin with me today, and I'm excited to chat with her because we were on the phone for like an hour the other day, the first time ever having a phone conversation, and it was a great call. So I'm excited to bring her on to the Purpose Pod. Wait no longer. Let's clap it up for Arden McLaughlin. What up, all right?
It's pretty good timing for Carolina can, because obviously I'm still watching my basketball game.
You are
still tied up, and Chase Rice helped them make 2 important free throws. And if that was last year, we would not have made the free throws. So this year we learned that when you get free points, you should take them. That's critical to winning basketball games, making your free throws.
Come on. And that's critical to life right there, Arden. Come on.
It is, but as a future mom of some sort of clearly NBA player, because I'm 5'11", I need them to, I will be the one out there going, I'm sorry, you didn't make 10 in a row. You don't get dinner yet. Rules.
Oh, no.
You gotta make mama some money. Mama's gonna be your publicist, but you gotta make some money for mama.
Come on now. So you believe in tough love.
Yeah. You don't get anywhere without, stuff is not free. People want free. Stuff is not free. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it.
That's a fact. And
don't throw away your shot.
I like the way you play life, because
I'm Alexander Hamilton. I am not throwing away my shot.
Especially the free throws.
Right. No, that's your shot, right? That's your shot. Okay, we cannot talk. We cannot.
All right, yeah,
we'll use up my whole hour dissecting the importance of basketball.
Yeah, basketball. We'll talk about that some other time.
I'm 5'11". I have to relate to basketball players. That's what I relate to.
I thought I was 5'11" for the longest, but
did you?
I'm not.
You're not.
I was close.
Yeah. If you're on a dating site and a guy says he's 6 feet, instantly he's 5'10".
He's 5'10".
It's fine. I just want you to own. I'm way more excited about a guy that owns his 5'11"ness than the dude that's I'm 6 feet. Buddy, you're not.
Yeah. You just gotta own it. You have to own who you are. Own your story.
That's right. Yeah, good segue.
Good segue. No, but Arden, I am definitely glad to have you on here because I know a lot of people who are business owners, they're young professionals, and they're looking to take their business to the next level, and some of them are just like me. They start their businesses and they don't know the ins and outs to media. But I want to start off by first. We'll talk about all of that later. But I wanted to first ask you, how have you been during COVID? Like COVID came in March, kind of shook the world. How have you been?
It has. So it has been. I think I was on a podcast, or I was on a group chat where they were like, "Check on your single friends." I am single, and April was probably the hardest when they like completely shut us in.
Mm-hmm.
I am a true extrovert that I gain energy from other people.
Yeah.
But I'm also like a lifelong learner. So I just really am a really faithful person. So I was like, okay, everything happens for a reason. What is this supposed to teach me? So it's been hard, but it's not been the worst thing ever, right?
Yeah.
Like I would have said in April, once I'm 42 and I basically moved back in with my parents and they were like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
They're like, you are really going crazy if you're here for more than like 5 days in a row. Which is true because if they were the same way, they were like, oh my God, what do we do? And so that has been hard. But as a super creative as well, I just figure I'm given this time. So what can I do with it? So it's like anything. I was listening to a Brene Brown podcast and her name was Priya was talking. She's like, like everybody, I'm really good. And then I'm really terrible. And then you gotta pick yourself back up and you're really good.
That's the truth. And I'm an extrovert as well. So like this, when COVID came, I was like, no. And then, a few weeks in, a month in, I was like, okay, I can deal with this because I'm learning something about myself in between time, and I was able to, start my businesses thanks to COVID. So it worked out.
That's true. I think it's all mindset, right? Like thanks to COVID, I did the course that I've been thinking about forever. And I got creative with how I do PR. And I've learned about, let's learn every different thing I can that I wouldn't normally get to do, but it's definitely not the easiest either. Yeah. It just is what it is, but is life easy all the time? No. So
yeah, it's not easy. So, so you being from Mooresville, are you currently out there now? Are you still in Mooresville? Are you in Charlotte area?
No, I'm in Charlotte.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You had to leave
Mooresville.
Mooresville.
I'm in Charlotte now. Top secret. Don't come find me because I don't want to be murdered. I watch a lot of murder podcasts too. So I am fully aware, if you're a murderer watching this, I am fully aware of all your moves and I am thwarting all of them right now. So no, I'm not a good murder person.
You're not a good murder person.
I will call, if you're trying to murder someone, call for their DNA, pull out hairs, because if I'm going to die, I'm going to make sure you're convicted. So.
How did we get there, Arden?
Listen to a lot of murder podcasts. You asked what I was doing during COVID as well. Again, when people ask me where I live, I'm like, I'm not telling you. Somewhere.
Somewhere
on this Earth galaxy.
You're right, because people are crazy these days. Somebody could be in I was going to say West Virginia, but I don't want to offend anybody from West Virginia. Somebody could be from Vermont or California or something. And crazy.
I was on TV for probably 10 or 15 years, and I got several very clear stalking letters. And once you start getting letters from people and they have found you when you should not be able to be found, you get real careful.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's
really crazy. Sorry you had to go through that. Man, that's crazy. So
it's life, dude. You're gonna stay hidden. Hamilton could be my whole life. When he says, and I think this is great for any time your story, either you stand for something or you fall for everything. When he looks at Burr and he's like, dude, are you going to wait or are you going to move? And you've got to keep moving.
Yeah.
That's just, you do, but you can't set yourself up. That's why hiring a publicist, look at me. I told you I'm media trained. Hiring a publicist, having a PR person on your team or in your back pocket really and truly helps you stay prepared for all of these things that are going to come. So. Yeah. What else do you want to know about me?
So a lot of people don't have publicists in their back pockets. And, I think since social media, especially, there's different platforms, different new social media sites coming up like TikTok. I have not downloaded TikTok. I don't even know how to use TikTok. But I know you were talking earlier on Instagram when we had our a couple of minutes on Instagram. That might not be for me. I don't know if my people are on Insta or TikTok or not. So I wanted to dive into that really quick. For the old school folks, like let's say people around my dad's age, they have their business and they're trying to figure out which platform to jump on. Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? What do you have to say to those people?
So it's look at your data and see where your audience is hanging out, right? Like, so if I look at my data, you're always going to go to where your audience is. I'm watching, like I said, I'm watching basketball right now. The audience that's watching basketball is on ESPN. It's on, they're on the ACC network. They're on those kinds of things. I'm not going to go to this audience and try to sell them Hallmark movie ornaments. You're not the two, maybe, but that's not low hanging fruit, right? I'm going to go to this audience and sell, hey, I've got this cool new water, or I've got this cool new vitamin pack, or this immunity boost. So you go to where your audience is hanging out, and generally your data will tell you that. And you can ask simple questions like, hey, you can be on Facebook, you can be on LinkedIn, you can be on Instagram, and just ask random questions. One day I asked a question like, hey, should I wear my Gucci belt to this photo shoot? I don't have a Gucci belt, but I wanted to know the people that I'm targeting, do they need me wearing high-end stuff for them to buy from me? Do they need me just looking high-end? Or is that, if I'm trying to attract a person who's going to pay $1,000 for a course, or, is that a Gucci belt audience, or is the Gucci belt audience the people that are going to pay $10,000 for a course? You can kind of stage questions to figure out who your audience is, and that helps you figure out where they are. Then you go look at the data again. Who's on LinkedIn? Who's on Facebook? Who's on Instagram? Who's on Twitter? And also, who's on these other self-created platforms? Like when you really talk about PR, and I get into this a lot because I take personal offense to social media influencers being called PR professionals. For one thing, my really good PR professionals have figured out, and we've studied, and we've been in it for 20 years. And I went to a journalism school. I have a minor in creative writing. I have studied. I continually study all of media. I was watching Good Morning America when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I know the scope of media and how it's changed. I don't, just because you're popular on one social media platform does not mean you know how to craft an entire PR platform. It means you know how to get hits. There's nothing wrong with that. I have amazing people on my team that do that, but that is not PR. PR is earned media, which is media, traditional media. It's also managing your public image. So it is the social media. It is the creating great emails. It is the blogs that you're writing. All of that is PR, and all of it lines with what your story is. And what your story is the foundation. And a really good PR practitioner will help you pull that out, because your story is what stays with you through 2021 when this pandemic is not going away. It stays with you in 2022 when we have the House of Representatives could turn over, or we're going to have city council people, and we could have a shift in economics as we move into next year. Your story and who you are does not change. Social media platforms change, algorithms change, things like that change. People's popularity changes, but your story and who you are and who you attract does not change. So that's why hiring a PR practitioner is such a better value than, if you don't know who you are, than just immediately going, okay, I need that person to get me 10,000 followers. That's what's going to make me famous. It's not going to get you sales. It's just not. It might get you short term, but it's not longevity. And longevity is what keeps your doors open. Small businesses fail because they don't have the longevity, or they just, and a lot of them we'll see they just run out of steam, or pandemics happen. But the people that consistently can turn over, they know who they are and they know what they want to do and they know their purpose. That's why I was like, loved working with you on this, was like, my purpose is to help people figure out what their story is, who needs to hear it, and how they're going to make money off of it.
Yeah. And those are
I
very
talk really long.
No, that's cool because that's your job right there. But so you said with the whole part about the story being the foundation, right? A lot of people have amazing stories, right? They have these stories like, oh, they went through this, they've been through that, and they're like, oh, I'll start my business now because of my story. But they really don't understand the full value of their story yet because they haven't connected with a publicist, right? Because if you connect with the publicist, you're able to gain more from your story. From what I'm learning now, I've had my amazing story, but I've only been able to throw my story this far from, I'm only throwing it this far versus just taking your master class the course, taking your course, I would be able to leverage my story a little bit more. So could you go into telling people how taking your course could help them leverage their story and their business?
Yeah. So I created the course, and it is a course. I feel like I'm a PR professor now. It's PR 101, and it's this methodology that I've really honed over the years, and I've taken my clients through, and I've seen it be successful. So it's called Purpose, Pitch, Perform. And so the purpose is really in those two modules and those lessons, and the experts I bring in to teach you that this is how to live this out, is it's honest to goodness. It's who am I? Why? Like a story arc, if we're going to really get into it as the creative writing minor. So story arcs there are 5 parts to every single story: character, plot, setting, character, setting, plot, climax, and resolution. So I take the setting out and I take the conflict out. Conflict is crisis communication. That's a whole separate animal. I should not say I love it, but I'm wearing my Olivia Pope white jacket. I always feel like Olivia Pope when I wear this, but yeah, I'm great at helping you figure out how to get out of conflict. Setting isn't really important for this because your setting is a little bit of everywhere. What does matter is your, and I dive into this deeper, but it's the basics of my characters. That's your target audience. It's figuring out, again, who do I need to talk to that's going to buy my book, hire me as a realtor, listen to my podcast, who's going to buy my earrings, whatever it is, whatever your products are, who's going to do that. Then the second one is kind of that, it's the plot. What are your communication objectives? So everyone thinks everyone needs to hear from me. If everyone needs to hear from you, no one's going to hear from you. So my communication objectives right now, like for me personally, my communication objectives are to get people in the PR membership class that I'm creating, because our PR membership group that I'm creating, and hey, you want to just jump in every day, every month to hear what's the latest going on media, or be the first to hear, hey, this media trend is changing. This new, this new station is coming up. My Instagram expert has told this. The second is get this course in people's hands. So that's a communication objective. So everything I'm doing is lining with that. The third is I have VIP days with people. It's really creating an entire package to help you launch your business. Then there's the work that I already do for clients. But those are my 3 main objectives that I've had for Q4. Yeah. So that's my objective. My target audience, I know who that is. I know what my objectives are. And then the last is like, what problem do I solve? What problem do any of us solve? So the problem you solve is the key to so much of this. This is a lot of what I've done is based off of my experience with StoryBrand by Donald Miller. I am not a certified StoryBrand person. I have taken a lot of what I've learned from StoryBrand by Donald Miller and applied my creative writing background and my journalism background to create this. But the problem you solve helps you reach the right people. We don't solve all the problems. I again, like I'm not an influencer. I am not going to show up your restaurant and people are not going to come because I said to go. They're not. I'm not that cool. Yeah. But I can put it in the right hands of the media. I can call, I've got a major announcement we're doing next week. We're getting the right people mobilized for it. Mm-hmm. I see a big picture and I'm a connector. So that's the problem that I solve. That's how I pulled together Definita to help you define yourself in a cluttered marketplace. So this strategy I've used on myself too. So that's where the basis starts. The next part is really teaching you where you should actually be, right? Like everyone should be on Instagram. It's still the number one platform right now. Doing video is going to boost you. If you want to figure out reels, it's going to boost you more. Instagram really hates a lot of static pictures. So getting a tripod, getting a ring light, getting those sorts of things to start to capture life is going to boost you up. Yeah. But then where else? Do I need to be sending a newsletter? Do I need to be writing a blog? Do I need to be on LinkedIn more? And I just say pick 3. So I break down in the class how to pick the 3, and then I teach how to pitch to the media. So how to create a media plan, how to pitch to the media, and then so that's the pitch part. Mm-hmm. The perform is PR is every single day. It's how you show up. So I had on a different shirt earlier and it was just like bright and it was big. And I was like, that's going to be really overwhelming. Like it looks cute in person, but your day-to-day branding matters. How do you take the few pieces of media, the one piece of media and blow it up? Mm-hmm. All of those sorts of things, I break it down for you. And then I have experts in all the areas. I have, okay, so you've become an expert in something. Do you want to write a book? Here's the author. How to use SEO. So that's what the course is, over 6 modules and then like at least 12 interviews. Then you get coaching with me and you get monthly live check-ins with just the team. So.
Man, so you get the whole bundle.
You get so much, right?
That's a lot.
I think this price is going to go up in Q2 of 2021, but end of Q4 for sure, it's staying at the $997 and probably into Q1 of 2021. But it's so good, man. Like this is my book. This is like the first thing I've ever like really poured. Even though I read a book in college, several books in college, but it's so good. But I'm like,
it sounds good. and you know, like I think a lot of people are wanting to get themselves into that spotlight, you know, onto different news platforms, into different magazines, journals, blogs, podcasts. And, you know, so what you're doing is providing them with the resources, you know, and, you know, when you go to school, a lot of people say, oh, I want my degree. And it's like, okay, you want your degree? Well, you have to go through 4 years or however many years of school. But what you're doing is taking your life and your past and everything that you've uncovered and discovered, and you're putting it in this class. So that's why, you know, I told you I'm definitely interested in doing this because I have a story.
You're gonna sign up for it, basically. You eventually will. Like you'll pull the plug, or you'll do it because I've got like $300 off for you guys. Like, and I've had to look at people and go, you have to do this. And it's not about like, yes, I'm excited to get to work with you, but it's also about I created this because most people at our level or at certain levels can't afford to publish this yet. But they pour money into so many things. They pour money into like social media ads, or they pour money into, you know, like a trainer on a writer or something. And all of those things, they don't know who they are yet. And if you don't know who you are, you don't go hire a publicist to get you on TV, which is amazing. And it's wonderful. And it's super fun to be on TV and everyone sees you. But you don't do that if you don't have the basics yet. And you're really nowhere in this country are you going to walk in the door with a qualified person for less than $1,000 a month. And that's on the low end of it. So this is me breaking open the door to go, look, I get it. PR is expensive. our degrees are expensive. Really what you're paying for with a publicist as well is my contacts, right? Like it is a phone call. It is being able to get me right away. But what I can do, and I break it down, and if someone messages me, is like, hey, I need to do it in 3 payments, I will figure all that out for you because I want it in people's hands. Like this is my passion right now, is getting this class, getting this in front of people, just helping them break free from all that junk in their head that's keeping them from moving forward and getting their story told and telling it to the right audience as well. Stop getting cluttered. So
let me put that pin there. You said the right audience, and you know everything that you've said. I'm kind of getting the feedback, I think, from your I don't know where it's coming from. I can hear myself. Can you hear me? It's okay. Everything's good. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was hearing myself. I was like, why am I hearing myself? But so getting it into the right hands, so the right people, you know, when I first started my podcast and other businesses as well, I was like, oh, everybody's my audience. Everybody's going to be my audience. But that's not true. Everybody can't be my audience. I have to find out who my audience is, you know, who the characters are in this book, you know. So how can, okay, let me ask one question. I have a problem with asking 2 questions in one. So how can we define our story? Do we do that before we get to a publicist, or do we do that afterwards, or when do we do that?
It's a little bit of both. Like I said, take what I said today. I sometimes have a little chart, and if people want me to like send that to you and we can post it, it's just target audience. So it's kind of the 3 boxes, and it's you guys are hearing feedback. I don't know. Somebody else said they heard feedback too.
Yeah. It sounds better now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can turn, now that I have my TV, maybe it's weird, but so it's the characters in your story, your target audience, it's your plot, your communication objectives, and it's the problem that you solve. And a lot of times I'll send that document to people who are just like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and I have every business coach in the world on here saying, never send that for free. This is universe. I feel like what I put out will come back in 12-fold, but that's where we start. And I've got all of that. I break it down more in the course. I've got individual. If people just want to buy one at a time, you can do that too. But even if you just want to start there's a great book. If you don't even know where you want to start, Bob Goff has a book called Dream Big. And Bob Goff really talks about how you unpack your dreams and what you want to do. And I've told people, like, go read that book first and then come back to me. But sometimes it's just making that investment in yourself. And that's why I created the course, because I know working with a publicist or working with a PR person or something can also be intimidating. So this course allows you to kind of break through some of that and do it on your own, and then call me, and I'll have people go, hey, will you look over this for me? Or because you get like an hour of coaching and you can break it down into however you want. But again, it's starting with those questions, and we can post that later if they just want to look at it. It's just an easy download to kind of start to think about it.
Okay. That sounds good. And for you, as you know, for you, you have your own image that, you know, you're in control of as well. How are you managing your image while helping others with their image?
It's a great question. So it's a little bit of everything. I am pretty comfortable with who I am. I have counselor around me. I have sales coaches. I have different coaches that help me, but a lot of it is I'm just okay. I don't have to be like everyone else. Like, I was never the PR person. It's so funny. Anytime people do layouts, you always see the PR person in the pencil dress with the like certain cut of hair and the right stiletto, and the one like running in some sort of sneaker and a hoodie or something like that. Like, because I'm always the one on the ground with you. Now, granted, I will put on a dress and I will do all the things if I need to, but I'm also, it's not my show, it's my clients. And I worked really hard to get to the place where I was comfortable with who I was. And if I need to dress up to show up for you, to make you think I'm important, then we're not going to jive anyway, because I know I'm good at what I do. I know I'm bad at certain things and I don't do them and I farm them off to other people. But, you know, that's the funny thing. Like, people are like, oh, you have to be dressed this way and you have to do that. I'm like, cool, I don't, but I'm 42. I'm not a kid anymore. I think when you're 25 and 26 and trying to make an impression, I'm just trying to work with the people God puts in front of me to work with. And if they're not cool with me showing up in some version of Lululemon and a cute sneaker, I mean, I'm not going to show up to like Bank of America, do a top 4 of Bank of America. I wouldn't do that to them. But, you know, our image is our image. And people have called mine into question. Like, you need to do this or you need to do that. And I'm like, didn't ask your opinion. And like I said, I'm a really faithful person. And I think God has put a very specific calling on my life. And if he tells me, and I'll tell people this all the time, I'm like, did God ask you to say that? Is he like put that in your heart for me? If the answer is yes, then I will possibly take it into consideration. If the answer is no, it's just how you think I should live my life. I'm out. I'm not your Barbie doll. Everyone thinks I'm their Barbie doll. I am not your Barbie doll.
Can't dress
I'm
me
just
up.
not.
Brandon said it's the way you dress doesn't matter. It's your heart that matters.
Absolutely. I mean, I do. Like, my whole class, I will tell you, I got a whole course, or a whole part of the course dedicated to showing up dressed right? Like, don't show up dressed like a slob. If you're running errands, don't look a hot mess. But it's not about the labels, right? Like, it is about being pulled together, having clean hair, not having mascara everywhere. It's those sorts of things. It's you never know where your next client is or the next like person you're going to run into. So whatever your image is what you want to carry on. I'm always polished and pulled together, but I don't need to be wearing the latest, highest trends with the most expensive things to say that I'm qualified to do a job. Some people believe that, and some people want that out of their PR person. Some people want that out of their realtor. And if that flows with your vibe, cool. It just doesn't flow with mine. Like, when I look at my giving statement, I'm like, that could have bought 2 Louis Vuittons and several Gucci belts and 4 pairs of Golden Goose. Or it could have gone to like my church to impact people that need it. For me, that's more important. Other people, it's not. And that's cool. You just got to know who you are.
That's powerful, and knowing who you are, because, you know, like, I love how you talk. You have so much confidence, you know, behind everything that you say, and it shows, you know, in the way you are in business, the way you present yourself. I could see that. It was like, it's not she's wearing this and that. It's her mindset and what she's about and how she puts her business on these platforms. I see that it's consistent. So I really do admire that about you as well. So does our story dictate the media used to bring visibility? So like I was talking earlier, we were talking about the different platforms, and we were talking about our story. So let's say for me right now, right, I'm getting free consultation right now. So you know, so let's say you have this veteran author, podcast host, brunch event host, and engineer student. Like, where do you? I feel like I'm that guy, the guy that stands out. I'm the what do they call it? The elephant in the room. You know, I'm the oddball. You know, so where do I fit in? How do you find out where you fit in if you're just diverse and you do many things?
I would not say oddball because that has negative connotations. I would call yourself a Renaissance man. So it
like
first
that.
starts with like positioning yourself, right?
Yeah.
I had someone this morning, I love her. She's like, I don't know. And like, I will coach. This is where like the coaching comes in, right? Like, should I change my name? I've had people tell me this all the time. They're like, oh, your name stands out so much. And I'm like, I am also a 5'11" platinum blonde with a big mouth and very Southern. I could be named Jody or Judy or Jane, and I would stand out. It is not in a name. It is in your personality. Like, yeah, Arden, I do blame my parents that I'm very bossy because Arden is short for ardent, and I'm super pushy. But it's also like, it's just who I am. It was who I was raised to be. Now, I'm not always this confident. Like, don't put me in the middle of a dating situation because I am terrible at it. Like, I just don't understand. I'm so straightforward. I'm like, do you want to hang out or not? Like, I don't even know. Like, it's fine. Either way, just be honest with me.
Yeah.
You have mixed feelings? I don't understand mixed feelings because I don't. I'm like, which is a terrible quality in a dating partner, right? Like in a relationship partner, because you're ebbing and flowing. So I'm good in black and white. So I'm good at this part of me. I think when it comes to you, it's like thinking about who you are, and then it's telling the story to the right media. You don't have to tell your full story. I would not tell if I was pitching myself to Duke magazine. How would I do that? But if I'm like, hey, I really want to get in Duke magazine, I'm not going to lead with, hey, by the way, I'm a UNC grad, go Heels, hate Duke, right? Like, I'm going to lead with whatever Duke does. But right, like, I'm not going to lead with that. And it's all in everything. Like, I'm not going to, it's understanding your frame of mind. And that's why it's so funny. But I'm able to work with all people of all colors because I will also look at you and go, okay, you realize I'm a white girl, a white woman. Is it okay if you're represented by someone that doesn't look like you or isn't the same sex or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
You have to know that, and you have to have honest questions about that as well. And it's why I'm able to. People are like, you really think about that? I'm like, yeah, because it's how you position yourself. I'm not going to position. I've got an amazing entrepreneur that I work with who also happens to be an incredible nurse, who also happens to be a writer, who also happens to be a multimillionaire and who's created these things. Depending on who I'm talking to is what I lead with.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's figuring out what part do you want to stand out the most.
Yeah. That's a golden nugget right there. I needed that because I go, oh, this is what I do. I do everything, and like, that's the wrong way to start off. It's like, I guess the first date and then you go with something traumatic that happened in your life. It's like,
Don't. Seriously. I really do feel like this is my advice to all men that are pursuing women in general. I know you think we want to see that you're really sensitive and that you're super interested in us from go. And then in 2 months, when you've got us hooked, you're going to back off. Just be you from the beginning, right? Like, my biggest thing is like, well, you're coming at me, so I expect you to be this way all the time. And that's the thing. Like, you can't give everything away right away. People generally just want to know one or two things. In all media, like in my course, I keep saying that, but like the media people I interview, they're like, people just everything. They're like, I need to know you watch my show. I need to know that you've read my articles, and I need to know how it relates. Now, on the flip side, media that do not respond when you've like clearly said, hey, I'm interested in this. This is what I want. And then I'm like, hey, great article today. Cool thing that you wrote. Here's something that might work for you. It's very hard when media don't respond to that because you're like, you just told me that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
And now I'm responding to you. So there's this give and take with all of us, right? Because everyone's so busy. But somewhere along the way, there's this like, I've developed this relationship with a person, which is why the publicist comes in handy. But it's sometimes just cool. That's why I tell people all the time, just tell media, like, hey, you're doing an amazing job. Like, I love how you're covering this. That's it.
Yeah.
You may have a question for them one day, but you don't have to. You prime the pump. You start the relationship now because they are seriously getting slaughtered right now.
Yeah.
Slaughtered. And especially our local media, which I feel like our local media really and truly are doing an amazing job of just trying to balance all the different things going on. And they're just getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
All these people, every time I teach about a media class, I'm like, they're people too. And they're just trying to do their job too. So
That's true. Well, people forget that.
They do. And there's a reason, like, I went to the journalism school to be a broadcaster. And I remember being in there and I'm like, I might have the look for it, but I don't have the chops for it, man. Like, they are tough as nails. They can get in there and get those stories. I'd be crying in the corner. Like, so, and that's why I totally respect them. I feed the stories. I do what I can. I show up. I teach people how to respond and react and to give good product.
So that's a part of being a publicist is you teach people how to respond and react. So I know we were talking earlier about a certain individual who has bad publicity out right now, but I've heard the saying bad publicity is good publicity or something like that. Is that true?
If you have the right person spinning it for you, yeah. But I mean, I can. There was one case 2 years ago. This is an amazing story. My client at the time was running for a county office, and she was the first or second woman in our district and to ever run, the first Democrat. And there was a picture taken of her, and she's always a leaner backer. That's how she listens. She leans back and like physically absorbs it.
Yeah.
I know this about her. Well, she was leaned back in the picture with her arms crossed, and it was taken, and her opponent was leaned forward. And they staged it, and they just were like, look at her. She's like, all the things you do to a woman. She's not interested. She's judging us. She's such a bad fit. She sent it to me. She's like, help. And I was like, so I wrote something and basically was like, I'm not sure. I apologize for if the way I was sitting looked like I wasn't interested. In fact, I was very interested, and that is normally how I sit when I'm absorbing and listening to a conversation. But what's more interesting is my opponent is only pointing out my body language, and he's yet to tell why he's qualified for the job. I think we should run a candidacy why each one of us is qualified for the job. She got, I think, $1,000 donation from that one comment. And then on the flip side, I told her, you will never sit like that ever again in public, ever in your entire life while you're under my rule. And she didn't. She leaned forward. She kept her arms uncrossed. So there was a scolding, but there was a fixing.
Yeah.
And it just depends. Like, we can say I don't know if he's a lame duck president. He keeps saying that he's not going out without a fight, but our current lame duck president, I still believe he is as terrible of a person as you can get. But there are so many things he could have done, just like he could have played the part. Like Joe Biden did exactly what he needed to do. People are questioning his faculties, whether he has problems or not. Like, he stayed on task. He stayed comforting. He stayed smart. He stayed smiling. Had our current lame duck president kept his mouth shut and truly just showed, here is what I have done in the last 4 years. Here's how I have progressed. Because he actually has progressed. If you look at him from where he started in 2016 to where he is in 2020, he has progressed as a person, not as a person, as a keeping his mouth shut. But in some ways, he said a lot of the same things in theory that President Obama did, but he just said them so horrendously. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people. I am not voting for or against this man at all. I'm just looking at him from a very media perspective because I study these people all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude. And a lot of people need to be this way. Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Social media has allowed us to just foam at the mouth and say whatever we want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay, right? Like,
Yeah.
and if you do, like, if you're going to cut and paste, I'm going to say over and over, I do not agree with 95% of the things Donald Trump has done.
Yeah.
Probably the only thing I agreed with was sending out stimulus checks. And I'm sure there's like one time, I think he made sure churches stayed open or something. I don't even know. But if he had kept his mouth shut, because he is terrible, he could have got, I don't know if he would have gotten reelected. I can't tell you Joe Biden was the best candidate. But when you start talking too much, all these women that voted for him in the first election punished him by not voting for him in the second.
Yeah.
Know what you're going to say. So every time I'm like, you could have taken this, you could have taken this, you could have taken, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And that's just the frustrating thing. Like, there's really good people out there who can help you craft this message. And that's where, if you get into crisis, that's where you hire someone really good. You don't try to figure that out on your own. You pull someone who can help you with that. And crisis can be anything from, hey, I said something really dumb. I talked about guns when I didn't know anything about guns. Because I always say I defend the First Amendment as hard as some people defend the Second. Go to someone who specializes in crisis communication on the Second Amendment, right? Like, find the best, spend the money on that. Because anything can be taken out of context. And anything can be fixed. If you address it, man, anything can be fixed. If you come to it, I said this over and over when we weren't sure who was going to win. If both those men had said, you know what, I just want to serve this country. I want whoever actually the American people voted for, I want that person to hold the highest office in the world. If both of them had said that, we would have all calmed the heck down and been like, count every vote. Count every vote.
Yeah.
But they're fighting. Well, Joe Biden really wasn't fighting, but he's just fighting and fighting and fighting. I'm like, just let the votes get counted. Both sides. Stop trying to get into office before votes are counted. Stop trying to dude, it's November. You don't get in until January.
Yeah.
Calm the heck down. Everyone show leadership. I just wanted somebody to say, I want to serve this country.
Right.
I'm a true patriot. I serve at the pleasure of the president. Even if that effort even if the current president had called me, I would have served at the pleasure of the president because I am a patriot.
Right.
I think a lot of people still are. Just tell me you love America and I'm okay with however the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do that anymore. And that's where managing your message, and I think, to wrap it up, to go back to it, no one's comfortable with what their story is. They're not comfortable with who they are and where it fits into the greater picture. I'm never going to be famous. I'm cool with that. But I'm going to build people into their own fame.
Yeah.
Totally okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not about me, but I've settled that. I used to want to be famous. I've settled that I'm not going to be, so I can build up the next generation.
Yeah. Is every successful business is the business owner meant to be famous? You know,
no, I don't think so. I think some need to be. I think some truly. I have one that I'll be pitching next week. Her idea is incredible. Oh, everyone needs to know who she is, but she can humbly walk in that leadership. If everyone's famous, no one's famous. It's like what was someone telling me? If minimum wage is $50 an hour, this is so weird, then the cost of living goes up, right? Like, no, we all have to do our part. And whatever our part is so cool. Some people are meant to win 1 million awards. They really are. Beyonce, out of this world talented, but Beyonce is the only Beyonce there can be. Everyone has the same 24 hours that Beyonce does. Yes, but not everyone has the same support Beyonce does. So relax, you're not Beyonce.
Thanks.
She has her calling, and she has to put up with Jay-Z. Like, you know, and all the stuff that comes with being her. I don't have to be her.
Yeah.
I don't. So I'm very happy with that. I get to build up people that could be, though. So I think we try to emulate these people that we're not meant to be. And that's where getting comfortable with your story, living your most authentic self, and protecting yourself from where everyone thinks they have an opinion about you and what they think you should be doing. Because especially my new business owners out there, they got cool. They got so creative during COVID. They had time off and they're like, oh, this is my idea. I'm doing this. And people are like, well, you should really do that. But you should really do that. And you should really do that. And you should join my program because I'm going to help you do that. I'm like, oh, is that even what you want to do?
Yeah. You're right.
Who do you want speaking wisdom into your life?
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people are new business owners and they're trying to figure out where to fit in, where to get in, who to connect with. And, you know, they see people who are popular, you know, maybe they have 50,000 followers, and, you know, they see those people and they see maybe their account doesn't have as much followers. I've never really dived into the followers thing. I get people following me and it's just happened that I've been genuine and I've been myself. I've been dancing. People are like, haha, you're dancing. You don't dance. But people who know me from 20 years ago, they knew I've been dancing since I came out the womb, you know? So like people are seeing that I'm being my authentic self, and I've gotten over like 2,000 new followers over the last couple of months just from me being me. So I just wanted to tell the people that are out there right now, what we're discussing right now is you don't have to go out there and try to be popular. You don't have to go be like everyone else, the influencers. You know, you just need the right tools, which is what Arden is offering here from her course. So
and I think even if you don't, because I mean, there's times when I'm like, this is the best Facebook, this is the best Instagram live ever.
Yeah,
I'm totally gonna go viral.
Yeah,
3 people watch it. And again, that's where the good Lord tells me, sis, it ain't about you. You are not meant to be famous. Your prize of a lion is in heaven. That's all you get. And I have had people call me out like, who do you think you are? You don't even have 3,000 followers. Why do you think you can do what you say you're going to do? And then I go to my media page on my website. And I'm like, because it ain't about me, sucker. It's about all these people that I'm getting press for. But my followers hopefully enjoy following me. And I'll be honest, I don't do the work on Instagram I should to get all the followers. I hire out for that because it's draining. Again, you asked me how I do. It's really draining for me. I get really hurt feelings over how people treat each other. I posted when Kamala got into office, or it looked like she was getting into office. I posted, oh my gosh, in the last 30 days, women have got someone in the highest court and in the White House in 30 days. That's amazing for women. I had people on both sides tell me, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm done because I'm taking the side of women and celebrating women. And I even put in there, Kamala Harris, and I would not agree on one thing. Kamala Harris could care less about me. She don't care who I am. Like, it's fine that she does not care. I am celebrating women. And that's what's important to me. I vote on women. I vote on taxes. How are you spending, especially about education? I don't have children, so that's how I can vote, right?
Yeah.
I'm tired. And so I don't do the work on Instagram because honestly, people are mean and it hurts my feelings. I'm a wuss.
People are mean. People don't care. Like they don't see, you know, the time you spent in school, the time you spent brainstorming your business idea, the time you spent being vulnerable to your friends about your ideas and the time you spent putting your business out there. People don't see that. They just see the product and they're like, oh, well, she said this, so I don't want to follow her anymore. Everything else is out the window.
And they don't know like the harsh reality of how I only had my mentors in PR were men.
Mm-hmm.
Women, all they did was put me down. I didn't have a woman to raise me up. I had men, and even then, they were amazing, but they would say things you're like, ooh, you can't say that. But like, I always told myself, I am going to raise up women to feel comfortable in doing this. Mm-hmm. I am very grateful that I had these two men pouring into me, and one is retired now, but another, we still meet and talk, and like, I would love to continue one day when he retires or I work with him, like, but I didn't have women truly leading me. And a lot of women have had that experience. A lot of women have been passed over. So if I care about women, it's because I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I would rather celebrate the woman's victory on forward facing. Just go, you know what, sis? We don't agree on a thing.
Yeah.
But girlfriend, I'm glad you went. Like, I am proud of you for breaking that ceiling.
Yeah.
And then we'll fight later, and I'll hopefully get you. But I think women just want to work together. I think most women want to work together.
Yeah.
But people are mean. That's why I just stay off Instagram.
Yeah.
I teach people. I give you great tools to do it, and I teach you how to do it, but you without having to pour your life and soul into it. I don't think every day should be pouring your life and soul into this kind of stuff because you might lose a little bit of it.
Ooh, that's real. And it's a scary thing too. You know, I was thinking about calming things down with my podcast. I was going every day when I first started. I went every day for 30 days, right? I interviewed 30 people in 30 days. And then I was like, okay, I need to slow it down. I'm full-time student engineer. So let me do every Tuesday. And then now I have finals coming, and I got to the point where I'm like, okay, do I stop my business, and then focus on school, or do I just try to juggle both of them at the same time and just get more gray hair as the semester continues?
See, that's why I'm real blonde. I remember showing my mom a gray, and she's like, I didn't get gray hair until I was like in my 50s. And I was like, well, congratulations.
Yeah. That's funny. I wish I had a couple more years of just having all black hair on my head, but I got a lot of gray hair. So it's coming though, but I'm okay though, because I've embraced myself. Yeah. Arden, my wife had to like talk me out of jumping off the dye bridge because I was going to dye my hair, and I did it once, and then I felt bad, and you talk about embracing our story. And I feel like a part of the embracing our story is also embracing ourselves. So how have you done that in your journey as a publicist?
Well, see these funny faces I make and all these sorts of things. I just at first, and I'm very wiggly because I struggle with ADHD, or I have ADHD, and I just kind of got comfortable with it. And I also was like, you know what? If I need to get some Botox, I will get some Botox. If I need to pay more for it, I'm always going to get my hair done. Like, I am a blonde through and through. Some of it is just okay. And a lot of it is just going, I make weird faces.
Yeah.
I have a funny voice. It's okay, man. Like, my cats have yet to show up, but eventually they're going to show up. That's just part of my brand. And part of it is just, I guess it goes back to being comfortable with who you are. And just not trying to be anyone else. There are some people that they can stay straight all the way across. That's amazing for them.
Yeah.
I am very expressive, and that's amazing for me. It goes back to this comparison, and like I could look at people all day long and go, ooh, they do that so much better, or their quirkiness gets them likes. My quirkiness gets me talked about.
Yeah.
You know what? I like every time I say people are like, people are talking about you. I'm like, what are they talking about? I work out, I work, and I see like my pod of friends. That is it. I am not exciting. So if you're talking about me, you are literally making something up. Hon, I don't know what to tell you. It's literally that my life is that boring.
Wow.
And I just got to get used to it. Because some people, I think you start to look, I have a friend that I'm going to do a program with her, my friend Crystal Rose, shout out, talking about your inner child and these things. And I'm like, you know what? I looked back and I was always the tallest kid. I was with one of my like dearest friends from high school, like growing up. And she was like, I can't believe you thought that about yourself. And I was like, I can't believe you thought that about yourself. We are 42. We lived together for a couple of years. We have been dear friends since we were like elementary or middle school.
Yeah.
We just fit. I don't know. Like you just kind of got to go. Either I'm going to allow that frustration and the messiness of this busyness, like your exams and all this, I'm going to let it dictate me, or I'm going to go, this is a season and this season is really busy and I'm going to keep pushing through because I know the next season is going to be calmer. And especially like October was incredibly slow for me. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, bring me some business.
Yeah.
And I knew it was because of the election and people were really nervous. And once it was over and done and we feel like we've got some stability again, people are ready to go back to work. Ebbs and flows of entrepreneurship. That's why I'm like, get yourself in some group of people who get it. That's why I'm creating space for that, whether it's my PR group or whether it's just trying to create space for entrepreneurs. Like it's ebbs and flows, man. Like when you get a rest, really cherish that rest because that means a really busy season is coming.
Yeah. I like that.
Somebody asked me.
Yep.
For business, what tools? I think Planily is a really good one. Other people like Tailwind app.
Tailwind?
Tailwind app, all one word, or Planily. And for hashtags right now, I am using this website called besthashtags.com, and I'm just plugging in my word, and it's spitting out 20 hashtags for me.
Wow.
That is worth everyone's price of admission. Because
that's I'm writing those down and I'll post those on there later as well. If you text those to me so that I can post them on the thing for them.
Yes. That's what I do for anybody I will post for. I'll go, whatever the best hashtags are, post those in. And it spits out like the top 20 that are trending.
Yeah. So. We have Brendan here. He's the high school podcaster. He's a faithful listener of the Purpose Pod, and he has his own podcast. Pretty cool guy. Definitely need to get him in your hands so that you can launch him forward. By the time he's my age, he'll be more successful than me. Yeah. So that's what I want for him to do. Hard work.
School?
He is in South Carolina.
Okay.
And Brendan, you got to say what high school you go to. Yeah. Hard work doesn't beat good talent. It boosts good talent so that you can feel more motivated for that passionate career you want to do.
Yeah, that is really true. So I knew in high school that I wanted to go to journalism school at Chapel Hill. I got in pretty easily. I got in early admission. I did not go for the back. Like, I remember my mom and dad saying, will you please come watch these basketball games with us? Like, you are going, you should know who these people are. They're like, don't you remember watching Anton when we played Providence? And I'm like, Anton Jameson. Yeah. Again, sharing my age.
Yeah.
But I just knew I wanted to go to a journalism school, and I was the high school newspaper editor. I've won writing awards forever. It's why I'm so good at this one part and why I want to create this and teach people how to do it. So I totally agree. My God-given talent is writing.
Yeah.
But you've got to hone that, and you've got to work at it, and you've got to keep making it better, and you've got to figure out, how do I teach other people to take their story and make it work? That's my only life mission. I am not, again, some people are meant to be famous with it, but you do have to work really hard at it, and you have to keep perfecting it, and you have to take classes, and you have to have other people pour into you too. So right on, Brandon from South Carolina.
Yeah, he said he goes to Fort Dorchester.
I don't know.
Fort Dorchester. You don't know where that is. I do. Fort Dorks. I'm just playing. I'm sorry, Brendan. I'm sorry. That was that's what we called him. I was from Somerville High School, so that was our little rival. So I'm not going to keep you much longer, but I did want to ask you a couple more questions.
What you want? What you want?
So I wanted to know, like, what has been the response from people that have been through your courses or your classes before? What have your clients told you or have said about you that they enjoyed about working with you?
They like that I tell them the truth and that I don't mess around. And they like that we develop an actual relationship, like that I care about their success. And I think people like that I put their needs before my own.
Yeah.
So even in the, you know what, this is not working, I'm walking away. Like, you're not getting your money's worth for this. If you're not willing to follow the rules. I'm not going to continue to take money if it's not jiving. They also like that I make it easy and I make it fun, and I have really good, cool people that I have contacts with. So like the course has V the MP in it, and the people I have access to. It has Colleen Odegaard, who started, who's been in TV, and she really teaches a great class about pitching. It's got my SEO guy. It's got this PR group is going to be amazing. My people are putting that together. It should be launched in like 2 days. It has multimillionaires in it who have stayed focused on their program, whatever it is, and made it work. And you know what the cool thing is, and why people like everyone I bring in? They're all just they're doing their best to live their most authentic life. They're the first to say, like, oh my God, I totally messed that up, or hey, can we talk about this? But they're never, ever, ever going to like talk crap behind anyone's back. They're going to be the ones that like, hey, I'm not getting in the middle of this. I want to move forward. Like, they're just living. I just feel like they're doing really good work in the really best way. And they're just trying to be good people. And that's what I bring in. That's what my clients enjoy. My clients enjoy that I go the extra mile for them. It's really interesting. It's hard. That's a hard one for me to answer because it's really hard for me to accept. Like, one of my clients is like, you completely changed my entire life and my entire outlook about how I see myself.
Wow.
That's what when most people sit down and go through courses or planning or whatever, they're like, you see me and you really see me, and you see me for who I am and what I can be. And that's a total God thing. I will say, you don't have to be a Christian to work with me, but I've always said that, like, I go into these, I take clients very seriously. I really pray for, hey, whoever's supposed to take this course, whoever's supposed to sign up now, please let them sign up, because I like have my first check-in with everyone next week. I want more people doing it because I want them getting the latest news on Instagram. I want them getting this really cool email information and this targeted pitching and all this. I want this information out. If people always say, would you work for free? And I'm like, if I was a bazillionaire, absolutely. I love doing this. And that's really what people see about me, is like, I just have this energy that I love doing it. And if I'm having a bad day, if I'm off, I won't work because it's not fair. I'm not billing someone hourly if I'm not at my best, because I don't think that's a great way to spend someone's money.
That's a fact. Yeah, because you're the representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
not cool. If I'm billing you $150, $200 an hour, $100, whatever it is, whatever rate we worked out, because I'm just saying, like, if you work with me, you buy bulk hours, the rate goes down. But even at like $100 an hour, that's $100, right? Like, for a lot of us, that's a lot of money. And if I'm not at my best, why should I be billing you at that? So
yeah, that's real. I like that. I respect you for that. So
no, everyone pay your bills on time.
pay your bills.
That's the flip side, though. Whoa.
But earlier you were mentioning about how you're a white lady with platinum blonde hair and your country. I think you said you were white or maybe Caucasian.
I just loved it. I was like, why are we playing 90s alternative?
That's what I was going to get to, because DJ Davi put on 90s alternative and she was like, is it because I'm a white woman?
I know I'm 42 and I do remember the 90s, and I was like, like grunge? Like, I just never got into it. Like,
no, but I was going to ask you though. I was going to ask you, like, you know how you were saying if they want someone who wears Gucci or heels and like the image of their publicist, if they want it to look a certain way, has it ever, like, you work with V the MP and other minority people, so has it ever come into like where you meet someone and they're like, oh no, I only want to work with a black person or somebody who is Hispanic, or have you ever ran into that, and how do you handle that?
I actually have not.
Yeah,
I have been the token. I will say, like, hey, do you need but I always ask it up front. That's why I haven't run into it yet. That I will say if we're on a phone call, I'm like, hey, your target and who you're working with is minority of some sort. The one thing is I am a woman, and a lot of times our women issues are very similar. Not exactly the same, right? As a white woman, I don't have the same issues as black women are going to have, or as Latino women or whatever. But I do experience some sort of, not everything is hunky dory for me, right? Like, I think we were talking about, I loved how I had a lot of white men suddenly be aware that black people cannot go running at night by themselves because they are in danger. And I was like, yeah. And you know what? White women no woman ever can. Like, there are things that are just not okay. And that's the unfortunate, sucky world that we live in. So I'm able to empathize with that. But I will tell you firsthand, like, sometimes it is better to be represented by someone, especially as a minority, someone of your own race, because I never want someone's story to not be told because they're like, you got a white lady representing you.
Wow.
You know, I wouldn't want that. So I have 2 or 3 people that I'll be like, seriously, and we'll call. We're very open with each other. I'm like, they need someone who's in the same space. Same thing if like someone's really young or someone's in their 70s. Yeah. I can't relate to being in my 70s any more than I can relate to being 20s at this point. Right. So sometimes you really need that representative to align with you. And sometimes color-wise, age-wise, lifestyle-wise, but a lot of times, and especially because I work with women, but I work with men too, and men will tell me the same thing. They're like, you're just always honest. I will go, do you want to be a female-owned business, black-owned business, black female-owned business? Do you want to be a 70-year-old male-owned business? What do you want to be?
Right.
I will position you as that. And I've always been comfortable with that. And some people could say I'm naive, and I've had to learn. I really, really have had to learn to understand not only different race, but different age, different lifestyle. So I don't speak without asking questions and doing some research, and also going, this is my only life experience. I haven't lived in any other country, so I don't know what it's like to live in Canada and or any of these. So I'm honest about that. I speak from my experience, but as a professional, I know how to pitch you. And
Yeah.
so far, that has not been an issue. Because I will fight tooth and nail for my clients and for equality across the board, because inequality makes me, and my counselor told me that. They were like, she was like, Arden, here's where you stand. When somebody was like, I don't know where you stand. She was like, you stand for holding space for anyone that needs space held. And I never pretend to be something that I'm not, or be like, oh, I totally get it. Because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't have kids. I also don't know what it's like to send out your minority child and have to teach them how to respond to situations. I don't know what that's like. And all I want to do is work for a world that you don't have to teach that anymore. I can do that. I can listen to you and work. So that is not a situation for you anymore.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so far it's been okay. Someone today could write in and say, she's a terrible person. And I am happy to learn how I'm terrible today. Because once a week, someone tells me I'm a terrible person. And I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that.
She said
Let me
once
go
a
back
week.
into my hole of COVID again, where I'm just awful.
Once a week. Just get a letter in the mail.
Oh, absolutely. Someone's like, they're talking about you. I'm like, cool. I know.
Wow.
I'm a terrible person.
That's
sorry.
crazy. I haven't been that important yet. People talking about me. They probably do. I just haven't heard it yet.
You're not a woman. Women love. They think that's loyalty.
Yeah.
And I also think like the more you get into your calling, but it's also where the Satan attacks you, right? Like Satan attacks me because I'm a people pleaser and I want everyone to like me all the time.
Yeah.
So to keep me under wraps is to tell me people hate me. They may or may. I don't know why. I don't think that many people hear about me, but to be attacked, and that's for my business owners out there too. The more you live in your purpose, the more whatever you feel like is negative energy, negativity is going to come for that, because you can look right now. We live in a very fallen world, and light is trying to push its way out any way it can. And people are scared. People are scared, and I heard about fear more in the last year and I knew the election would bring it up. Like, that's part of my job, is to follow trends and to follow media. And I would have to tell people before COVID started or any of this, I'm like, you're not going to get any press from probably September to November. It's going to be a very heated. We knew nothing except it was going to be heated. And it's just part of my job is to know that. But people are really afraid, and people are really afraid their voice is being taken. And when people in America think their voice is being taken, they will fight you tooth and nail to prove to be heard.
Yeah.
We all want to be heard.
Yeah.
But instead, I think I posted this right after the election. We all want to be heard, but we don't want to hear. And I'm pointing to me as well. So I'm reading this book by Mark Batterson about When God Whispers, because that's what I'm needing to hear. What am I supposed to be doing? And how do I shut down the everyone hates you and lean into the, hey, you're doing the best you can. Keep doing what I've called you to do. And
yeah. How does your faith, work with your business? Like, how do you mix your faith and your business together?
I don't know. I think they're just so intermixed.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a Christian since I was like 6. I can't remember a time when I wasn't. I've definitely had many, many, many arguments with the good Lord. And I am sure on Judgment Day, I will not be the first in line. I may not have many crowns to cast, but I am very David-like. I am definitely a woman after God's heart. Who messes up a lot. And so I think it's just my everyday walking DNA. It's helpful in the whole prayerful, in the when I get frustrated about money, or I get frustrated because no one's buying, or I'm like, you know what? God, whoever you want to bring in, whatever you want me to be doing, you gave me this business, which I did not want. I will be really honest. All I want to be is a very rich wife with very pretty children, teaching them to shoot their free throws. That if that is what I want a hot, rich husband and 2 or 3 or 12 children, United Nations of children before me.
Wait, you said 2 to 3 to 12 children.
However many. I mean, I want the United Nations of children as well. Angelina Jolie has nothing on me. I have wanted the United Nations of children since I was in high school.
Yeah.
So, but it's very expensive to adopt a child. So again, rich husband. But that's not what God has me do, right? Like, our wants and our desires are not necessarily, if I truly am laying down my life for the Lord, it is whatever you want me doing, I will get up today and do it. But P.S., if you could give me a hot husband, I would appreciate that as well.
I like that. But P.S., it's not too much to ask for.
Absolutely. Asking you shall. I am that widower just outside of the judges. Eventually he's gonna get mad and just say, fine.
Hey, but if you got that, then people like me and other business owners wouldn't have this opportunity that we have right now. So I guess we got to snatch it now.
No, because the thing is, now it's never going away. I swear that's why God made me do it, because it's never going away now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm trying to post this for us.
That's cool. Yeah, we went over. I'm sorry I kept you a little over a point of time.
I'm done for the day. I have meetings at 7. I did get on my Peloton today. Aren't you proud?
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
And oh my God, this thing is so dumb. But yeah.
And we didn't get to talk about why you started Definita Publicity.
Say that. Why did I start it?
Yeah. Like what was so when you graduated from college, you already had this in mind, or what was the vision? What was that like? We didn't get to go there. We kind of jumped early in, but how did this happen?
Okay, so when I left Carolina, oh shoot, we're not trying to replace. I'm turning this off. When I left Carolina, in 2000, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. No. Mm-hmm. I had not had one internship. I had a really good time. I had a very great resume of working at a Christian sports camp, Abercrombie and Fitch, and catering. Clearly, and I mean, so I didn't know anything. Yeah. So I was actually in advertising sequence at Carolina. I knew nothing. I just wanted to write books because I was a creative writer. I was like, I'm going to finish my book and I'm going to find a job in Raleigh. And because my brother was still at Carolina. Yeah. And all my friends went all the places. I was like, nope, my brother's still here. I'm going to stay in Raleigh and I'm going to have 3 more years at Chapel Hill with my brother. And it's going to be great. Yeah. So I've never been like, people are like, I thought you'd go. I've never been this person that wanted to travel the world or live anywhere else. I am a Southern North Carolina girl. Now my brother lives in Kansas, which is very rude of him to take my niece away from me. But he married a Midwestern girl, and she's the best in the entire world. And they have their 1-year-old niece. But I just didn't know what I wanted to do, so I ended up at a PR firm, moved to another PR firm, and then got started with this program called Charlotte Reads, which I have a huge passion for literacy and reading, and I branded literacy as the top economic issue in Charlotte before anyone knew what branding was. Oh, wow. So as I look back, again, where I think God will just ordain your steps, I was doing all this before any of this existed, right? Like, I was on the front page of The Observer twice, me. Wow. All of this stuff, because I would just shoot the bull with these people. I would just call reporters. I made friends with Tom Sorensen, who hates Chapel Hill. I would get on my thing and like, I can't believe you do this. I got Tom Sorensen out at Longview Country Club before it was Longview Country Club. It was just the first Jack Nicklaus in the area, doing a tour with Mel Graham, the grandson of Billy Graham, because I was like, it'd be cool if I just got this idea. What if a non-golfer covered a golf course opening? It wasn't Scott Fowler, who was awesome. What if it was Tom Sorensen, who I just kept coming up with this stuff? Because again, I'm a writer and I'm looking at the story without realizing it. I was looking at the story. Yeah. Then I went to work at the library for like 10 years and really and truly just got sucked into government work and the complacency of it and the comfort of it. Granted, I was doing great. I love the library. Yeah. I still love the library. I think it's incredible, but it wasn't what I was meant to be doing. And I ended up in fundraising. I am a terrible salesperson. I had to hire salespeople to buy my class. Like, I'm like, can you sell this class for me? Now I'm like, buy my class. I'm bad at it. I don't know how to do it. Yeah. So fundraising was not for me. So we had cuts that year. My position was eliminated. And I was just like, it was 2015, and I'd been out of Carolina for 15 years. It was June. It was the day after my birthday. Wow. And my parents had gone to visit my brother in Kansas. I was literally my mom's like, oh my God, I cannot believe. First off, they couldn't believe I lost my job because they were like, what? And I was like, I know. And then second was, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And what I really had was like, I was super confused, but I felt unemployable and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to find a job. I didn't know if I wanted to find a job. Like, it was just, I took the summer and took all my severance and just chilled out. Yeah. And kind of applied for some jobs and kind of took some time. And then I was like, maybe I should just tinker at working for myself. I kept having people tell me that. And I was like, I'll just get a retail job until I figure this out. Okay, retail's terrible. Don't do that. If you're me, especially. And so I worked in retail for a while and kept getting fired from those jobs too. If you keep getting fired from jobs, you're not supposed to, I mean, when I tell you, like, people were literally conspiring to get, not the first one I didn't, but the second one I totally got fired from this manager job. And I walked in, I was like, they were like, oh yeah, you did all this. I was like, no, I didn't. They were like, will you sign the papers that you did? I was like, what? Yeah. That is God telling you, I need you to just leave. And the minute I was like, oh my, and I had clients, like, but the minute I was fired from that job, a week later, I had like my first retainer client. And I just kept figuring it out. Now, let me tell you that I do not recommend doing it this way. Yeah. I apparently still owe taxes for those years that I'm paying for. I am not business savvy. When I tell you I am totally unemployable, it's because all of this stuff. The government will find you and then you pay them and it's fine. It's no big deal. And people worry about this stuff. Like people are like, oh my God, you owe taxes? Yeah, it's just money, people. Yeah. I'll pay it. I am a low man on the totem pole. I am not Willie Nelson. I'm not going to jail. But I didn't know I was supposed to have an LLC. I probably need to pay an LLC tax now. I didn't know any of these things. So I'm just like freelancing it, figuring it out. But all of this time, and I was going to name the company for Full Court Press. Again, I love basketball and I love press. And I was like, oh, how cool would that be? I love Full Court Press. It's my favorite play because you're on the defense. But then I was like, but then I'm only going to work with sports people and I'm really, really fruity and fluffy. And I was like, you know what I help? And all of this, again, the beauty of working in retail is it's really like humbling because everyone treats you like dirt. And I would have people like just look down on me and try to like, I'm going to sue you and I'm going to do this. Like one person fell in the store and like tried to sue me. And I looked at her and I was like, I kind of laid actual what lawsuits look like. And she was like, oh, you're not an idiot. I was like, no, being so from Carolina, just figuring out my life. But I kept noodling this as true writers do. And I was like, I help people figure out who they are. I help them define themselves. I help them. And again, all these years, I'm cultivating relationships with media. I'm sending people media stories like, hey, Arden, will you just be your friend and see if I can get on TV? Sure. All this time I'm doing it for free because it was just, and wow. I had these friends going, that's a business, right? That's a business. That's a business. Again, no business acumen. So, and no confidence in myself, which is probably why I pushed this so hard, is I had zero confidence in myself. And I've created a $5,000 course for people for $1,000 because I want you to know you can do it. And I want you to have all the tools, right?
Yeah.
Seriously, people, if you want it, I will let you pay $100 a month. Like, I don't even care. I just want it in your hands. But all of this stuff is noodling. And I'm like, define yourself publicity. Well, someone had it. So then I was trying to figure out different words, and I put the French for define in the Google, and I didn't like how that looked. So I put the Italian for define in the Google, and I really liked how it looked. And so it became Definita. Probably saying it wrong. I made up the word. People ask me all the time. They were like, why didn't you just have it be Arden PR? Which I thought about that for a while, but
yeah.
Again, it's not about me. And I also think my name and that story is reserved for something else. And I think that's where living in alignment comes in. Is Definita is for sure a part of me.
Yeah.
Teaching people to get their own press is a part of me. Creating space for people is a part of me. But my name, I think, still needs to be tied to something else. So, and Arden PR is super, super self-serving.
Yeah.
And I'm not, it just looked funny to me.
Yeah. Definita. I like Definita. I was wondering, I was like, am I saying it right? I had her send me an audio clip. Definita. It's like Definita. I think you have to say it like with this. Like Definita.
I'm also very Italian, as you can tell. I mean, people mistake me for Italian all the time.
Yeah, I get it. I get mistaken for Italian as well.
Do you?
No, not really.
I mean, yeah.
Hard fetch. But yes, folks. So Arden, I am so glad that I was able to have you on here for this whole time. And I'm thankful that you took the time to come on my podcast and to share this information with my followers. And I hope that through this, people are inspired in that they are willing to define themselves and to put themselves in the spotlight by having someone like you help define their story and share their story with the world. And they can learn how to do it through her course. And so please, guys and girls, if you have any information, I have her stuff scrolling across right here. You could find her on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Like, she has YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know if she has a Twitter yet, but if she's on Twitter, you might want to watch it.
No, I gave up Twitter. I was on Twitter when Twitter was hot. I got into, oh my gosh, here's a funny story. So I go to Elevation Church, and if you go and look at the Prison of Offense sermon, there is there's a sermon sample about this woman tweeting the pastor. That woman is me. So yes,
really?
I remember writing Pastor Furtick afterwards, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, we're just all in different seasons. Like, he had been offended by it. I had been offended by what he said. He was offended that I was upset with him.
Yeah,
it's just so funny." And I'm like, "No, I'm a sermon series, guys. Like, I'm so this year's been. He keeps talking about offense, and he's like, "Yeah, why don't you go watch that sermon that I preached on Prison of Offense?" I'm like,
Prison of Offense. I'm gonna have to check that out too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you'll see it. And I'm like, I'm like texting my friend that works there, and then a couple of people were like, "Yeah, only a few of us knew." Yeah, so LB knew, Tanya Bendick knew. I'm like, so only the major players and the pastor of the fastest growing church in the entire world is talking about me. Awesome.
Yeah.
So hey, I got off Twitter.
Yeah. I don't use Twitter either, but they can reach you on Facebook and Instagram. So you guys make sure you do that. And sign up for that course by Friday, because we have that $300 discount.
Yes. Well, I mean, when
that's
I
awesome.
tell you, I just want it in your hands. I want you using it. And you guys, you can always get in touch with me. I just think this is just really proud of it. And I always tell my authors to talk about their books. And, you know, you talk about on your podcast. Like, I just think if you really have worked hard on something, you want it in so many people's hands.
Yeah.
And then knowing the power of it. And this is a spoiler alert, but everyone in the course who takes the course then gets rolled into my PR membership. You get 3 months for free. And that, again, this is why my millions are going to come in a very different way than most people's are. I just want people to feel comfortable with who they are. And I want to give them access.
Yeah. And I know that I'm going to get that access, you know, either I have to climb the hill or drive up the hill. I'm going to get up that hill with you, Arden.
Yeah.
So I know that probably didn't make any sense, but
but I always tell people, like, you can do it the hard way. And all of my lessons in it are hard-learned lessons.
yeah,
Because I mean, really, my parents were like, we threw you into this. Like, granted, I have a top-notch education and I'm very smart and I'm like, but resourceful.
yeah.
But you gotta figure it out. And I've kind of broken the code, which is really cool. It only took me 40 years, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. So we have a chance to get the code, folks. And if you want your business to be out there and you yourself as a brand to be out there seen by people that need to see you, not by everybody, but people that need to see you, your audience, please take her up on this offer, because it's a valuable tool, you know. And I know a lot of people have been going through different things with COVID. That's why she was saying, look, if we have to work something out, she's willing to work something out with you. So please don't let that hold you back from pushing your business forward.
No, seriously, there's easy ways to do it. I've learned all these magic ways to like help you guys out.
So we're going to
help you out, like, right? Like, I think you do that.
Yeah.
There's no shame in it, right? Like, I really wanted to take a course with this person. I really wanted it. And I was like, I can't pay it out. The thing I'm going to do next year, I was like, I don't have all of that to pay you at one time. And okay, I'll do payments. And I actually don't even mark up on payments. I just divide it 7 ways, 10 ways, whatever it is. A lot of people do mark up, but
don't mark it up yet. Just wait a while. Wait for your boy. Wait for Alan to get there. You know.
I told people that too. Like, don't mark it up
yet. don't do that. But yeah, Arden, I so appreciate you. Do you have any final words for the guests? Do you have any words of encouragement or just any closing words that you want to say?
I do think if you're struggling, read that book by Bob Goff, Goff, Dream Big. And honestly, it's none of this is that hard. You just need to get the right tools to help you figure it out, and to just have a little bit of confidence. So, and sometimes that confidence is just going, you can do this. Like, it's cool. You can do it.
Yeah. And I believe you. So I'm going to have that confidence, because even though I'm a confident guy, but then when it comes to business, it's like totally different. So,
I mean, you freaked out. Like, and I think also, like, when I got the taxes, you owe this, I'm like, and then I go, you know what, too, I probably freaked out, but then I was like, I mean, they know how to find me.
Yeah.
I'll just keep paying them. It's just money.
Yeah.
It is just money. And tomorrow, when there's nothing in my account, I'll freak out again. And then the next right? Like, it's just like, I'll be all right. Stop. It's just life.
Yeah. I agree.
Just COVID.
It's just COVID life. Do you think that, like, right now would be the best time to, like, push your business forward because of next year? Like, I know you were saying, I think was it earlier today about like how 2020 and 2021 aren't going to be that different.
I do, because every day you stop, every day you don't do it is a day you've missed out, and someone else could do it better. That someone else could do it tomorrow. Yeah. I'm telling you, the minute I launched my course, all these people were saying, I'm never going to do that. I saw 3 other people do it. Like,
yeah.
So, and they probably have bigger followings. Like, someone else is always going to do it. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. My first website was not that great. My photographer, she did such a good job. I put it together as best I could. And I had that for like 2 years until I finally hired someone else to do it better. Like I literally just took great pictures from my photographer and put it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had new pictures taken and I had someone write it. And also look for people that are hungry. My video that people are going crazy over my purpose pitch perform class, that dude is, people are like, that video is so good. I'm like, $500. He's brand new. He's hungry. He's incredible. Find people that are hungry and will work with you and then over deliver for them, right? Like I have given his name. It's Chris Rodartes. Like everyone go follow him. It's Rodartes something. Rodartes on the Instagram. He's incredible. Do well by people that do well for you. And then the people that screw you over, keep your mouth shut and keep moving.
Facts.
That's what I should leave it with. Pump up the people that do you well and keep your mouth shut about everyone else.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Arden McLaughlin. I
have so many secrets locked away.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm never going to share them because that's not me. I'm pumping up the good ones. Keeping your mouth shut about the bad ones. You will sleep well at night.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. We have to get some coffee sometime, Arden.
I know.
I'm here in Charlotte, you know.
I know. I am too.
Oh.
Top secret location.
Top secret location. Over there. I'm just playing. Yeah. But Arden, just hang on in the background and I'll be back with you shortly so we could, like me and you could get off and finish up. I could wrap up and thank you for being on here. So just wait in the background for ladies and gentlemen and kids out there, Arden McLaughlin. She is the publicist that you need to know right now. So make sure you check her out. So this has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and faith. Please, please, please check out my girl Arden. She will put you on the map and get you right, get your business right. And I hope that all of you out there have gained something from this today. Please be inspired and motivated. Please have courage and show the world your story. Share your story with the world and be encouraged. This is another episode of the Purpose Pod. Peace.
Hands up,